Hello everybody and welcome to my build guide for the Cyanex secondary weapon. Now this isn't necessarily a weapon that is super popular, however I have a lot of fun with this weapon because something that I really love in weapons is big, flashy, bursty AoE weapons, which is absolutely what this is. So let's get into the build. Alright, so first of all, with this weapon, it does automatically have gas on impact, so that gives us one status element already. And the other thing about this is that the bullets ricochet, they hone into the target. You do have an alternate fire mode on this weapon, which will empty the entire magazine without homing as a single burst. To be honest, I do not enjoy alt fire. I usually just only do primary fire for this weapon. So going into the information, the unique trait, we already talked about that, that's the alternate fire. I have the secondary Merciless Arcane on here. I do not actually have anything in the Excellence slot, although I do have it unlocked. I guess you could use some projectile speed, you could also use pistol mutation, but to be honest, I'm not really sure that any of these are necessary like they are in certain other weapons, so you can get away without this Excellence slot. I do also have things that I do need to upgrade for this, but we do have Hornet Strike on here for damage. We've got Heated Charge for heat. We have Frostbite for cold. I have Slip Magazine on here for magazine capacity. Now that might be a little bit of a weird choice, however, I find that the magazine on this weapon is pretty low, especially with the rate of fire, so I actually have this on here just to make it a little bit of a smoother experience for my personal preference. However, if the basic magazine doesn't bother you, you can leave this off and put another status mod on. I've got Stunning Speed for reload and status chance. I have Pathogen rounds, which even increases the toxin more. I've got Lethal Torrent for fire rate and multi-shot, and then I have Barrel Diffusion for more multi-shot, which you would be replacing with the Galvanized version. Now here I do have blast damage in addition to toxin, just because that way I've got a couple of things. In the radial attack I have blast as well as gas damage, so we've got a couple of status things going on here at least, and then in burst you see it's got slightly less things going on with it. Now as always for these videos I do have to show off the galvanized mods. Eventually I'm just going to have enough arbitration essence, I'm just going to buy everything at once for all of the multi-shots at any rate, but the primary thing you'd be replacing on this weapon would be the galvanized diffusion. It is 110% multi-shot, and then on kill you get 30% stacking up to 4 times, and this is for 20 seconds, so you can easily reach like 200-300% multi-shot. Now there's galvanized shot, which is status chance on kill. You could possibly put that on there for a status kind of a build. Crosshairs we're ignoring because it's not really good. So primarily rating diffusion. You may also want to pick up shot for status builds at some point in the future. Alright, so we are in the simulacrum for some weapon testing. With this weapon, I'm going to summon in some enemies here. And then hopefully I left this in its regular fire mode. We'll see. So as you can see, we're getting this nice status chance, and it does bounce around and cause quite a lot of AoE, which is one of the things that I love about it. However, it isn't necessarily the strongest thing. You kind of have to let the toxin work. As you can see there, it is kind of killing things a little bit more slowly because we're having gas clouds with the burst. We could probably just swap the burst to something else, but I kind of called it like exploding toxin clouds at least. Now if you want to see what the alternate fire does, what it does here is that it's just kind of expelling the whole magazine. We're not really getting that spray, and that's why I just kind of like using it. However, on lower level enemies outside of the steel path, this actually does kill a lot of things quite quickly. And it's not that you can't kill steel path level enemies, it's just that you kind of have to let the toxin work. So if you're using it in steel path, I probably would switch out maybe the blast for like corrosive or viral, honestly. But I just have a lot of fun with the blast damage, which is really why I'm using this. But as you can see, we did pretty much kill everything here, not with a lot of problems. So you can use it on just about every level. You just might find that this build is a little bit more effective just normally. And I'm not really a heavy Steel Path player. I'm pretty much only in Steel Path, particularly when it is a weekly mission where you have to do Steel Path missions. But I'm generally just a regular player, so most of these builds, like, you can use them on the higher level enemies, but I generally am not like a super heavy Steel Path person. So that is it for this short build guide on the Cyanex. I hope the information in this guide helped you, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.